What is good, ladies and gents? Hope you're all doing good and everything's going alright for you. Just come out on a bit of a walk. But yeah. Right. Been checking out grows, seeing how everyone's getting on, and I'm way behind everyone else, but such it is. The race is long. The race is long. No. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, people lose their plants too. So yeah, not good times. It's always shit when that happens, but don't be discouraged. Carry on. And shit. I fuck up pretty much every year, so I keep coming back. So it would be nice. So very nice. So very nice not to look foolish again this year. And grow some nice sized decent plants. I mean, I know I can do it. On the odd occasion where I've had some success, the plants have grown over 6 foot. So yeah, that's just hope we don't look foolish this time. But anyway, don't really know what to say, to be honest with you. Like many of these things, what to say. It's so from the last video, when I went to go and sort out the other garden, I got quite a pleasant surprise. Quite a pleasant surprise indeed. So basically, the farmer who owns some land has decided to block up the only entrance into the way into his fields by putting massive fucking oak tree. I mean, like, this tree is, it's not movable without a tractor or heavy equipment. You would not be you'd not be getting that thing out of the way anytime soon. So he's butted it right up against the fence, and in two ways this is a bit sad, because if he's done that, it means those fields he's not accessing anymore. Well, for a season anyway. Generally, farmers do this from time to time when they're not using fields or a field or a part of land to prevent travellers getting onto the site and setting up camp down there. So they block it all off. What it does mean is I have a season with about an acre of land, maybe a bit more than that, which is nicely tucked away. It's a beautiful piece of land anyway. I'd very much like to own a piece of land like that. Maybe one day, if the pirate chain all goes off, we'll do something special. We'll create something unique and invite people to come along. Because pirates aren't greedy. We're not doing this for the love of money. The whole point of pirate and R is to take these fuckers out and return money, which surprisingly enough isn't that note or coin. That's just a type of money. There's many types of money, and ultimately all it is an agreement between people that this thing has value. So yeah, if it goes the way it's going and more people start finding out about it, the more useful, shall we say, it will become. Because yeah, as like I was saying before about it, if you get paid, remember being paid in a little brown envelope, at the end of every 2 weeks, and you took that money and you went to the shops and you bought something, how does anyone know what you bought? Yes, they can tell that you got paid, but everyone got paid, and it all changed to monthly and only into bank accounts because they're wankers, and they want to trace and track every single thing that people buy, spend and purchase, where they purchase it from and for how much and all the fucking rest of it. Well, what Pirate does is it returns it back to that. I have my money in my wallet, and as I choose to spend it, it is only between me and the person that I'm making that transaction with. And that is it. And the only people who know. So yeah, if you like the idea of your bank not knowing what the fuck it is that you're doing, or anything about you, because at this stage they want to know the fucking inside measurement of your trouser leg, how heavy your testicles are, and the size of your jap eye. So, you know, if you're down for that, then carry on, but I'm not. And I'm not down for any of this bullshit, because it's a fucking poison chalice. It's a poison chalice. They sell you something with this grand idea, like CCTV, for example, you know. Well, help solve crime. Yeah, I'll also monitor you. And in the wrong hands, that's a control system. Just like we're seeing being set up all over the place, but that is the B system. But there's some very interesting things about when that happens. But anyway, nonetheless. So, should it go off and people start finding out about it and understanding what it is, they will literally abandon all other crypto for this, because unlike all of the others, this was built with privacy being the key primary thing before anything else. So they did it on the Zcash network, or Equicash, using ZK snarks. To be honest with you, these are terms that even I don't really fully understand, but what I grasp of it is that the Z, anything that proceeds afterwards, is encrypted and can't be seen. So it starts with Z. And what they're doing to the Zcash and Equicash network, even Zcash and Equicash will be implementing. So, and that's coming from Pirate, so straight from those guys to the network, and the network going, do you know what, that's actually a really good idea, I think we'll implement that. And they've been getting on more exchanges. Hopefully soon you will actually just be able to buy it outright. So at the moment the route that you have to go is you'll buy Bitcoin. Once you've bought your Bitcoin, you then send it to the exchange which is selling R, and then buy your R and transfer it to your wallet. Because if you are interested in cryptocurrency and finding out about it and whatever, I'll give you one piece of advice. Never fucking leave your crypto on the exchange. Never. Take it out of the exchange, and if you want to trade it, you have to be willing to lose that potentially. And it's only a potential, but should an exchange go rogue and decide to close everyone's accounts down and empty out all of the destination addresses, then they could do that and you could lose everything, as some people found out. So just don't leave it on exchange. And yeah, so if it goes off and it goes up to the value of Bitcoin or exceeds it, we'll be in a position to start warring with the George Soros of the world, and the Bill Gates of the world, and the Elon Musk of the world. Yeah, we'll have some fun then. It's just this very interesting thing. Very interesting thing, because how can I put this to you? When Christ comes, no one will be expecting it. There's a lot of people expecting him to come. Okay? They will not be expecting it. In fact, they will just be carrying out their lives like every other day. So, it's interesting things in that. But anyway, good times ahead. Good times ahead. Got to go through some storms. Speaking of storms, I'm pretty fucking certain there's going to be a fairly weighty storm coming, because we have had some really beautiful days. Like last couple of days, according to the thermometer anyway, it's been like 30 plus degrees. So the plants have been absolutely loving it. They are actually now starting to look like ganja plants. And I planted out, not planted out outside, but germinating some more seeds. So in, I think it's like a 15-litre air pot that I had just spare. In that I put an amnesia hazel or two, and then I've got 3 orange blaze mays, some new ones. And because of the opening up of some new land, I'm going to put those outside. So don't generally grow the autos only in the back garden, because, well, we like to have some certainty of something, at least harvesting something. Oh yeah, there's someone nice that I can sit. So I'm using my phone again today. Just don't want to sit on the fucking spiky shit. Yeah, so I'm using the phone again. It's fucking hot, man. It is so hot. So hopefully this will pick up. Generally, I talk quite quietly anyway, but when I'm outside, especially around gardens and stuff like that, I exactly really want to be broadcasting myself to everyone. And when I walk around here, because it's through a valley, the sound just echoes. So even with me talking now, there's like people up on this ridge who will more than likely be able to hear me. Yeah, it's about 30 degrees. It's absolutely beautiful. Like, there's nothing quite like English summertime. Really nothing quite like it. Summertime in other countries is not so fun. Really, really fucking sticky, really, really humid. Really not pleasant. I mean, for a while it is, but so come up here as well. Ah, the flint. It is so very comfortable. Smoke some of this. This is just CBD. But CBD is better than nothing, I guess. I've never smoked this stuff before. And to be perfectly honest with you, it is absolutely nothing, even remotely like THC, even in the slightest. There is no feeling of being stoned whatsoever. At best, Uh, I'd say I feel slightly more relaxed, but the feeling is the effect of like drinking a cup of coffee. Some people it really affects, but I mean, if I drink a cup of coffee, I don't really feel very much, maybe a little tiny bit, but nothing really. And this is kind of similar-ish to that. It's like, it tastes nicer than smoking tobacco on its own. And I've basically scraped the absolute living shit out of everything that I've got. I have a lot of jars with a lot of scraped outside, so this is why this year we need to perform quite well and take some decent sized harvests and whatever. I don't know if you're going to be able to really see in there. I don't know whether that'll even pick it up, but this is 6 grams of keef, and it smells like some quite nice bud. But for the sake of cheapness, I mean, it was like £19 for 6 grams, so not too bad in my opinion. It was worth the punt for seeing what it was like anyway. I don't particularly know whether I'll bother buying any more, but I guess it's better than nothing. So yeah, so I took those pots that I had to move from the bramble site, and I fucking hate brambles. I've decided that I'm never going to grow in brambles ever fucking again, because they are a wanker plant. It just shreds you to pieces, and it grows in like vines for the purpose of tangling you. Like if you were trying to run away from someone and you were running through brambles, you'd be fucked, because those things would just tangle your legs up and drag you to the floor. But then that's their design. I mean, they eat sheep. They are like a sheep killer. They grab onto the sheep's wool, and then they just kind of drag it in, and as the sheep kind of struggles, it just gets more and more hooked and knotted into the brambles, and then it ends up fucked, and it can't get out. And ultimately, if it was in the wild, it would die, and then it would basically fertilize the soil, and then the bramble would get bigger. It's a carnivorous plant. It's a fucking wanker plant. But it grows nice berries, I guess. Like blackberries are pretty delicious. But at the same time, trying to fight with it, it's really not very much fun at all. I would highly suggest not growing in brambles. Be good advice. Like gorse bush, because you can kind of hollow that stuff out and it doesn't grow like a wanker like brambles do. That's probably not too bad, but I don't live too close to the coast, so there's not really much gorse bush around my end. It's mostly brambles and bracken, and bracken has become my favourite. The only problem with bracken is with the really nice patches of bracken, it generally gets laced up with stinging nettles, so you get stung to shit instead. Like clearing out that patch, I was just being stung to absolute fuck by 5.5 foot nettles. But nettles produce some really quite nice things with the soil. So nettles actually condition the soil, so they're really quite like beneficial. And they condition the soil, and as they die, they leave all the nitrogen from them growing, and then they nourish the soil in that way as well. They basically pull nitrogen. That's what they do. So when you see big patches of stinging nettles, that's some really fertile soil right there around where it's growing. And bracken is very similar to that. Bracken really loves the sun. So, just saying. So anyway, we're gonna put, I put 3 pots, 3 full up pots. So I emptied out the dirt of those 6 pots into 3 to fill them all up. And I've got some compost bags, so I'll take down there, fill up the other 3, and then I've got a couple of other bags, and I'll take those down there as well. But what I have found is those fabric pots, deer really fucking like to chew on them for some reason. I don't know why. One deer just absolutely fucked one of my pots, just chewed holes all the way through it for no good reason. I mean, it's not good for it, but it seemed to fucking like eating it. Maybe it was just a retard or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put a cage around the pot itself so then the deer can't eat it, and then I'm going to feed some thin sticks through it to create basically a netting, but a netting that I can just remove. So then what that will do is similar to what people do with an indoor grow. So as the plant grows up towards the sticks, it will have to grow around it, so it will naturally bend the plant, hopefully keeping it all at the same size. And then as it grows up taller, I can feed some more sticks through it and just create this mesh that it will have to grow through, so it won't grow up into a big Christmas tree or grow into a bush instead. But it's worth a punt to see what will happen with it, and if it works, then there you go. There's a little tip for you if you wanted to do some I forget what it's called, it's gone from my mind, where you put netting over the top of the plants and then they have to grow through it. I seem like a retard. It's a really common indoor growing method, but it's gone from my head entirely. But yeah, we'll try and replicate that similar thing using the cages. Using the cages around the pots. CBD. But yeah, still waiting on the CAN card, so that should be here maybe not next week, the week after, and I'll show you it. I can't show you the back of it because it has your photo on it, and it has your date of birth, your national health number, and your expiry date or something like that on the back. So if I was to show you both sides of it, then I would show you who I am. But maybe I can do something with it to blank those things out so you can see what the other side looks like if you've never seen one of these things before. Yeah, I mean, at least smoking this I won't get stoned, so I'll be able to continue to speak, which I'm sure many people will be very fucking happy about, because normally when I speak it's like, the fuck is this guy going on about? But hey ho, at least they listened that long to get to that stage. But we are expecting to be booted off of here fairly soon. I only need one more strike. That's it. One more strike, and my channel is locked. And then should that happen, like I said before, I don't think I can really be fucked with YouTube anymore. I was just using YouTube because it was a platform that was available to me to upload videos. That was literally it. And since I can do that on Odyssey, I'll just go over to Odyssey and put them up there. I've not looked at WeedTube to know what that's like, and to be honest with you. I don't know whether it will link to this channel or link to Odyssey and then upload my content. But it is what it is. I mean, in many ways, I'm amazed that I managed to amass so many people who wanted to listen to a random guy like me. So thanks for coming along, I guess. So if YouTube shuts me down, and I can really be bothered to upload there anymore. To be honest with you, YouTube now has become just like so very shit. They've just age restricted everything, like even to the most simplest things. Like I was looking to try and create a drying box, or look up some ways to dry some stuff, and nearly 90% of them are all fucking barred. They're age restricted, because obviously they're useful videos that would show someone some information about some useful stuff. So what I've done, and what I'm going to do, and I'll show it, that's if I don't get kicked off here first, but I'll put it up on Odyssey anyway, is I have bought an AC Infinity T4 inline fan, not because I'm growing indoors, but now with the can card, I might grow indoors. I don't really have a lot of space though, that's the only problem. But I might grow indoors because with the can card, if should anyone come knocking, I can say, this is my medicine that I'm growing. I'm a can card holder, which means that I'm a genuine medical patient and I'm growing my own medicine. Whereas before, that becomes a little bit more difficult. And when you're growing indoors, you have no you basically have no get out, because you're growing it in your house. So it's like, is this yours? Nope, don't know anything about it. Is this your house? Okay, so you know something about it then. Yeah, so like fucking randoms down there. It's like staring at me. It's like, anyway. So I bought this fan, and what the AC Infinity Cloudline, I think that's what it's called, does is it comes with a probe. So you put the probe into your grow tent or grow area, and it will monitor on a panel connected to the fan to deal with humidity and temperature. So I can then set it to drying conditions, put the plants all in a couple of big cardboard boxes that I've got, setting up like almost like a grow tent but made of cardboard, hang the plants up inside there, stick the probe in, put the settings, and then leave it to dry. So I should be able to use that to control the humidity and the temperature inside the cardboard box, to provide the correct humidity and temperature to dry the plants out slowly over about 2 weeks, which is like literally, growing the plant is only stage 1, getting to harvest is stage 2, and drying is stage 3, and curing is stage 4, and every single stage is as important as the next. You can grow big buds, but if you dry them and cure them like shit, then you just wasted your entire time. So we don't want to mess that up again. So last year I did something really stupid. I left some plants in the shed to dry out. They dried out because of the temperature. It got up to September. I harvested the other ones and put them in the shed thinking, yeah, it'll be all right. Yeah, no, it wasn't. They just all turned to mold and rotted in the shed. And then I got like literally a teeny tiny little bag. So I just wasted all of my time and effort for growing mold. We are really, really good at growing mushrooms, just not the ones that we want. I don't know whether they just dislike me, but I've got another quart jar or whatever size it is, I don't know, of mycelium. So I'm going to clear out my dub tub and try again. and it takes a fucking long time. It's like, I'm not going to show it because it's not really, I don't really want to. You can go and find out about it yourself if you want to know. I'm not going to teach people how to grow mushrooms. I think personally that they aren't something that you should mess with as a recreation, because they're a very, very powerful key. But by all means, if you want to go and fuck around with them, then do what you want. You just open yourself up to a whole nother plane of reality. And there's shit in that plane of reality that can get inside you. And you won't even know it's inside you. That's the worst part. You won't even know it's in there, because you never knew it was existing in that plane in the first place. And I mean, they can get in you in here just anyway. Generally speaking, like, alcohol is a really fucking powerful one. Like, alcohol will open you up to all sorts of shit. That's why you end up with all the problems with alcohol. Well, they sell that shit. You can go and buy litres of that shit. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do in the drying phase anyway, and hopefully that will work out to be relatively useful, I hope, to dry these plants out. And I'm really kind of hoping, I'm looking at all my empty jars and just thinking, I really could do with buying some more jars, because I filled up these jars. So, what I'm going to do next season, so I'm going to just be breeding next season. I think I might grow a garden of Sensi, but I won't be growing, I don't think, Sensi in my garden, in my yard, because there's too much risk of losing those very, very fucking expensive Mazar Oshiri seeds if I plant them out in the wild. Whereas if they're in the back garden breeding, then I can breed enough of those plants to have a seed stock to then grow them outdoors and do seed gardens outdoors. I'm going to pick up some other land races as well, and heirloom types, for strong mold resistance, and then use my strain to breed into those strains to then come out with a different strain of my own, which I call UK Field Ninja. Because yeah, that was not me, that was the plant. A ninja that grows out in here. Kind of a bit like stinging nettles is the aim anyway. Replace those stinging nettles with the cannabis. I don't know. The effect is there is somewhat of an effect, I guess. Smoking this, it's not the same as being stoned by any stretch of the imagination. It's a bit more like chilled, I guess. Like the chilled effect of being stoned, but without the feeling of being stoned. If that makes any sense. It's kind of ish what it's like. And like normally when I smoke a joint, and then after that I'm just a bit like, don't know what to say. Get tongue tied and lose my train of thought instantly. Not that I don't lose my train of thought, like, pretty fucking quickly anyway. But I'm not working off a script, so yeah. Anyway, so 21st of June, and you get your freedom back. I mean, the irony of you getting your freedom back meant that you were never free in the first place, because you either were free or you weren't free. So there you go. And I'm already hearing everyone, not everyone, I'm hearing the media, because they like to do this shit where they're like, oh, it's got to be put back, it's got to be put back, it's got to be put back. It won't be until like the 20th of July, it won't be until April next year, but we'll see. I mean, my question is, I wonder how many of these special people will, on the 21st, go, hang on a minute, They said that they were going to lift all restrictions and everything on the 21st of June, and now they've changed their mind. I mean, like now what I'm seeing is big groups of people in parks, big groups of people going around the place. I don't really see now anyone wearing masks whilst they're outside, only when they go into the shop, like, I don't, fuck knows. Like, I have to comply, because otherwise something might happen to me. Through this entire time, I have not fucking once put a mask on my face, and I've still had to go to the shops, I've still had to go to work, I've still had to go and do all these things, and I just say, I'm exempt. What can they do? Like, honestly, what can they do? It's like they show all this footage of people getting caned and whatever by the cops, almost like to make the people who kind of are like, oh, I feel a little bit rebellious, but not enough rebellious to get in trouble, to make those ones go, oh no, I best not do that, actually, I best not do that, I better comply. And unfortunately, those people are the zombies, because they sold this image of rotting corpses. I mean, spiritually, that's what they look like. And it was getting quite depressing. Not so much anymore, but I tell you, if you've ever watched the film They Live, when they put those glasses on, that's what the Holy Spirit is like. It's like putting those glasses on, and the whole world just changes. It just changes, and now you can see all of the shit that you couldn't see before. And it's that scene where he's fighting his mate to get him to put the fucking glasses on. It's just like, put the fucking glasses on. He's like, no, I won't, until he forces him and beats him, and then when he puts them on, he's like, oh shit, and then they go on a rampage together. Oh yeah, such it is, until such time that more people put those glasses on. But I will say, if you're hearing people talking about red pills, that red pill, that shit right there is a tranquilizer. That's a tranquilizer. It's fucking LARPing neos. I'm red pilled. I see them. Ah, but do you? Do you really? Yeah, I know what the government's up to. I know what they're doing. Ah, but do you? Do you? And this so-called red pill that you took, where do you think half of the information that you're receiving came from? And who was it given by? I'll tell you, the fucking Freemason, the snake's children, is very fucking tricky. They'll tell you a whole load of truth, a whole fucking bunch of truth, but intermingled in that truth will be a lie. Slowly the truth will be retracted. But because you believed the truth to begin with, which got you bait and hooked, eventually they lead you solely into lies. They're very fucking tricky. Very, very fucking tricky. But I'm hoping that there's more people than not who are listening to this who are aware of that. But I can't say, because I don't know, and I don't mean to be patronising if you do know. If you do know, then just ignore what I'm saying, I guess. If you don't, then hopefully it might encourage you to look some things up. But ultimately in this, whatever you do in looking at all of this, is do not fucking blindly follow these people. You have to come to your own decisions and your own conclusions by yourself. It's very easy to just listen to someone and it sound all good, but seeded amongst that goodness could be lies. And if you're not checking it up yourself, then well, those lies will, they're like seeds. They'll take root. They will take root. And instead of a good plant, they'll grow into a thorny fucking bramble and drag you down and take you out like a sheep. And it goes for pretty much all things. Like, if I can give you one bit of really good advice: believe nothing, challenge everything. That could be very useful. Very useful. But yes, so the next plan of action is to actually get the plants into the ground. So they're all at a decent enough size now. The weather's good enough, though I'm behind everyone else. I always have to bear in mind that my seeds, my plants are entirely 100% natural. So my plants have not been under artificial light to grow before they've come out. They have been, for the most part, germinated outdoors only. So the weather dictates, weather entirely dictates. Where's it gone? So, Monk Jack Day, I think. Chasing a pheasant. Oh, off it goes. There's some really big deer out here. Don't know what type of deer they are. But, they're pretty big. They're about the size of a Shetland pony, I guess. But not a pony. And they got big old bastard ears, and some the male ones have some pretty spectacular antlers. I mean, I wouldn't want to fuck with them at all. It would do some serious damage, but thankfully, fucking dude. So this is a wheat field, and those spiky things, I think someone was saying that they're thistles, are all weaved in it, and I've got 3/4 length shorts on, so I'm getting stabbed to fuck right now. I've got some rapeseed here too. Hopefully, what I'm hoping for is there'll be a couple of stinging nettles in here as well, so that'll be really sweet if I run across some of them. But getting through here now is slightly more of a mission. And there's all sticky weed, and sticky weed is kind of a bit like fucking brambles, except slightly less bleedy. Give it that fucking time. They still scratch like fuck though. I've got some grippy old grips on them. There's a little bunny down in there, disturbing the bunnies. Yeah, fuck. This is why you should wear trousers. Really annoyingly, I came out for a walk a couple of days ago, at the end of last week or whatever, and 2 Apache helicopters, 2 fucking gunships came slowly flying over, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Because they make a mean sound. That is a serious helicopter. Those engines are for real serious engines. And they just make this incredible sound. Sounds like death to me, is what it sounds like. And when I saw them, it dawned on me, if this was a wartime thing, I can see that, I would now be dead. This whole area here would just be molten metal, and I would just be in pieces. But thankfully, we can hope that the British military will not start fucking killing us all, but you know, orders are orders, and I want to disobey some orders to shoot the populace. We can hope that that doesn't happen, but we make preparations for should it do, and to move out. We know a little bit of tactics, at least we know some, but by no means are we a professional in any way, shape or form, and the only way you're going to get those professional techniques is actually by being one of them and going through the training programs, which I have not. But there's bits and pieces that you can pick up from watching things and reading stuff. You can get ideas of tracking and how to listen out for people and finding cover and stuff like that. It's like tell you this. So, should you ever be being chased by a helicopter, if you go in there with all those thick trees, they cannot see you. Not even with heat sensors. The heat sensors cannot penetrate through dense foliage. You can completely hide in places like that. But obviously, if you get seen going into it and coming out of it, yeah. So, but anyway, little bits of information, I guess. if you were ever in such a need, neither confirm nor deny anything. So yeah. So we'll get the plants out into the garden, which I've already prepared. I've got the pots, and I'll fill up the other pots and get the plants down into that bit of acreage. And then the other plants, which I'm going to use for seed, I will take into, I think, a whole new garden elsewhere. I'm still debating whether I should bother with seed this year. I don't know whether I have the strongest plants for it. They have been grown out and completely germinated on their own outside, which means that they have the genetic information of the season, which would get passed into the seeds for them to grow next year. So, it could be, they're just so small as well. They're just so tiny, and whether or not they'll turn into much, I don't know. But we are trying to get this to grow wild, and since now we've got it into a position where it will actually germinate naturally outdoors, and it will do that through the cold months, and as the heat warms up, cause them to germinate. That's genetic information that those seeds will now carry. So I think we will just for the sake of it. We might have to get some more fencing because I really can't be fucked with brambles, and going and retrieving like 5 meters worth of fence for the sake of 5 meters worth of fence, I don't think I can really be fucked to do that, to be honest with you. It's probably easier just to get another big roll of that green fence, and just plot out another 3 meter by 3 meter patch, dig some holes and put the plants in for seed. So I'll be going and doing that in the evenings this week, and then when I plant the plants out, generally speaking, I don't think I've ever filmed that, other than it being pitch fucking black and you can't see anything, and turning torches on and shit like that isn't the aim of the game here. But ultimately, the riskiest parts of this whole type of growing is not preparing the garden. Preparing the garden, there's nothing there. You got caught preparing the garden, it's like, and I was gonna grow some beans. It is actually when you have the plants on your person, and when you're heading towards the plants with water or fertilizers, because you'll have a difficult time explaining why you have water and or fertilizers heading towards a patch of merry marijuana. So they're the times when you want to be the most cautious. Just going up to the patch just to have a look at it. Not that I would openly suggest doing it, because if you are new to this, there is a great temptation to consistently go to your plants. If people are watching you, or let's say for example there's dog walkers that regularly walk down a path, and you run into that dog walker, or that dog walker sees you over and over again coming into an area, and you leave a path, their curiosity might get piqued enough to see what you're up to, and then you've lost all your plants. Or if you leave a path through the undergrowth, and someone comes doing a bit of bushwhacking or rambling, and they see that path that you've left, they could follow it, and now your plants are gone. So you want to really, if you can, minimize travel to a site and leave it really only for watering and for feed. Okay, so I've abandoned these plants on a number of occasions and then come back to find quite substantial sized plants without me giving them really any food or any water, other than the food and the water that they got whilst I was growing them to begin with. So the amount of water really, though this ground is like dusty, if I was to dig about, 10 centimeters below this, it would still be quite damp. And since the plants are down in that damp ground, they are able to access water. Because ultimately a plant digs roots down to find water and nutrients to grow. So unless you're really growing in a container, like I even find that the fabric pots, when I lifted them up, though the entire top of the soil and everything was kind of dry, down a bit deeper it was damp, and when I lifted the whole pot up, it was really damp underneath the bottom. So they're able to get water. So unless it's like full-on drought conditions, I honestly don't think you need to give them so much water. Also, on a growing perspective, roots, which are the engine of the plant, they search out water and food. So if you're persistently giving them water and food, the roots don't really have any reason to grow. And the bigger the root network, the bigger the plant you're going to get. So if you constantly feed them and constantly water them all the time, the roots are just going to basically go, I've got enough water, I've got enough feed, I'll divert all my attention elsewhere, which is perfectly fine for like an indoor type grow. But in the wild, the best information you're really going to find is to look at plants growing in the wild, and what they do. Like, none of these plants here are being given water. None of those plants in that field are being given water. They're growing, and these plants can too. But the more the genetics have been fucked with, if they've been persistently grown under artificial light, they've been persistently grown in hydroponics, that's the information that's held within its genetics that it's going to pass on to its next line, to go, this is the conditions I was growing in, expect the same conditions. So when you're buying plants, this was when I was selecting them, I had to look at this and go, well, if I grow plants that have only ever been grown under artificial light in hydroponic systems, they're going to be shocked to shit when they get a completely different set of events occur. So with that information in mind, I then went seeking out plants and found a grower who was growing completely naturally outdoors, in the wild. So with that, they were like, well, these are going to be best suited for my purpose. I'm not growing them under artificial lights. They are just going to grow in the wild as they would anywhere else. But anyway, they'll say, generally speaking, on the seeds, whether they're an indoor or an outdoor growing plant. With some exceptions, outdoors can literally mean grown outdoors in the sun in a greenhouse. So some vendors will say this is a greenhouse plant, this is an outdoor plant, and whatever, but when you're selecting seeds for the type of grow that you're going to be doing, is kind of useful to know what plant it is and where it came from and how it was grown previously is always useful information, I guess. That's if anyone ever bothers to get to the end of these videos to get this information, but whatever. It's all just evidence. For me, it's just evidence. Should I get in trouble, I can go, there's 3 years worth of, 4 years worth of intent. So enjoy sitting and listening to I don't know how many hours worth of intent before the court or the prosecution or the defense goes, yeah, this guy didn't have any intent to supply, this guy was literally just growing for himself, and this guy now is growing for medicinal purposes. So is there really a case to answer here? He's clearly not a drug dealer, and is clearly not funding some seedy underground network. Oh yeah. Anyway, so we'll pick up some other genetics. I got I don't know how you pronounce it exactly, like Erdapert, which is a Swiss strain that was grown up in the Swiss Alps. So it's really good at taking some harsh abuse, really good mold resistance. It hails from Kush family. It generally grows like purple and pink pistils. Goes purple in the cold. And I'm going to pick up some Sinai. Still can't get Mazar Osheri seeds, but I have some already. I'm just gutted I didn't buy them when they were a lot cheaper. But I've got a lot more seeds. Yeah, that's the intention anyway. And we will crack on with some breeding projects next season. But this season really has to be about producing a large enough supply to see me through potentially 2 seasons. Which, I mean, with 9 autos, so 9 autos, 10 autos with the amnesia, 2 photo periods, so in the back garden alone I should hope to get about a kilogram dry. And that's a lot of weed. That's like all my jars plus maybe about another set of my jars, and that would be way more than enough. I could like KO myself every day on that much for a couple of years, I'm sure. And then next season, I mean, obviously anything that grows with seeds in it I can still smoke. It just is a mission to get the seeds out is all, but at the end of the day it's not the biggest of deals. I mean, having to get seeds out or having nothing, I'll choose having to get seeds out every time. So I'll still have that to smoke as well, and because they'll all be Mazar, that's some pretty potent stuff. It's like one of the most potent indicas. So that should be enough to get through to then have a decent seed crop of Mazar seeds which aren't crossed with my strain, to then do a cross with my strain and the Mazar, to give the Mazar the genetic information to know the land, to then be able to do another seed crop the following year after that. But after all, many other plans. And then in that time as well, I'll be back to growing Sensi in one plot, seed plot, and then whatever's in the garden, and then add some more breeding to it, and maybe cross my plant crossed with Mesa crossed with Erdopert, which then should make a really quite an interesting, hopefully UK wild growing strain, which then we will be in a position, hopefully by then, so this is not for another 3 years or whatever. This is saying the world hasn't collapsed, but even if the world collapsed, I can still plant plants out in the wild. That's not going to stop me from planting plants. What will stop me from planting plants is there being no water or no sun or no land. And until that happens, I will continue to plant. And to be honest with you, should the world turn into a Mad Max situation, I'm sure that weed will be quite an expensive commodity that people will want to trade with for sure. You've got some weed? You've got weed? I haven't seen weed. I haven't smoked weed. I'll trade you some weed for some of that there food. and whatever. And even if we lived in the bush, we can still plant it. Living in the bush. It's just the same, it's just living somewhere else. Yeah, so that's the general consensus of what we do, and whether or not that will be on YouTube or Odyssey or on absolutely nothing, that's the plan. But like I say, many are the plans. Anyway, this is like an hour-long video, so I don't expect many people to watch to the end, but if you have, I still have seeds to give away. I've got about, I don't know, 6 packs of seeds that I can give away. So if you would like some seeds, contact me on Wicker app or Wicker Me app, and I'll send you some seeds out. But anyway, until next time, this is UK Field Ninja. See you all later.